Everybody. I'm Anouk van Westrenen. I'm from the Netherlands. I hope everybody is awake. I most certainly am with my jet lag. I would like to thank you to invite me here today to talk about seizure detection devices with a special focus on parents, their needs, their coping, and how devices fit into their care situation. Imagine your child has just been diagnosed with epilepsy. He experiences nocturnal tonic-clonic seizures, and your neurologist just explained to you the risk of SUDEP, sudden death. From that moment, everything changes. You can never let him sleep alone again. Worried, when will the next seizure come? And afraid to lose your child. Epilepsy affects parents. Almost 60% of all parents have significant symptoms of anxiety. Most studies focuses on mothers because they are mostly the main caregiver of the child. And up to 50% of mothers is at risk of depression. Anxiety and depression are associated with a reduced health-related quality of life in the parents, but also in the child. And this is mainly influenced by psychological factors, such as stress and coping, and less by disease-specific ones, like seizure frequency. So how do parents cope with this situation? There are many different coping styles, and everybody handles the situation differently. But it's important to know that certain coping strategies that are more passive, like avoidance, influences the quality of life of parents. But not only of parents. In this figure, you can see that the higher the helplessness of parents, the lower the quality of life of their child. From interviews with parents with children with severe epilepsy, we found that all parents are afraid to lose their child. And driven by this fear, they develop a certain behavior to protect their child, like co-sleeping or not sleeping at all. And this behavior can help them to control their fear. But on the other hand, it can also increase the burden of care. And it is really important to know how parents are coping with the situation and how they have developed this protective behavior. Coping and anxiety are also associated with each other. The question is, how can we help? What can we do to support these families? Well, first of all, we can look at coping. And it's really important to detect any problems in coping, so we can help the parents and provide psychological support when needed. When you look at the other end, the fear of losing your child is something that you cannot easily take away. The question here is, what is the role of seizure detection devices? When you ask parents and people with epilepsy themselves, they agree upon some key needs that devices should bring them. First of all, they should improve safety. Secondly, they should improve clinical and self-management. And they should provide reassurance. When you ask people with epilepsy about their preferences for seizure detection devices, they will tell you they would like something that is non-stigmatizing and has an attractive design, something like a watch or glasses, something that is not easily recognized as a device. It should be comfortable. They prefer something that is wearable, securely fitted, but also removable. It's really important that all the data from the device is handled confidentially and that they can get timely support when needed. If you ask parents, they would give a slightly different answer. They would focus less on design, and they tell us that they're more interested in the accuracy and to trust a device. So when we first focus on accuracy, it's always a complicated balance between the sensitivity and the positive predictive value, which has to do with the false alarms. So the higher the sensitivity, the lower the PPV, and the other way around. And this is always in balance with each other. We wanted to ask parents, what balance do they prefer? And we wanted to present them with a realistic scenario. So we took into account individual seizure frequency. For example, if you take a child with 10 seizures per week, and you set the bar, the balance, at 50% sensitivity and 100% PPV. This means that 50% of seizures are missed. So 5 missed seizures and 0 false alarms. Now, when we change this balance and we put it up to 80-50, this means that 20% of seizures are missed, so 2 missed seizures, and half of the alarms are false, so 5 false alarms. Now we questioned parents with this scenario, what would they prefer? And this is what they answered. The blue bars represent the percentage of responders. And as you can see, a balance of 80% sensitivity and 50% PPV was mostly preferred. And parents tended to prefer a higher sensitivity over a lower PPV. So they would rather not have any seizures missed than false alarms. When we look at trust, parents indicated that it's very important to trust the device. And they also gave some suggestions how to improve trust. First of all, by integrating different modalities into one device, such as heart rate, movement, electrodermal activity, the more, the better. Secondly, recommendation by a neurologist is something that can really gain trust in a device. And personal adjustment of device settings would really help them to increase trust. Now we wanted to see what specific preferences parents had for different features of seizure detection devices. And we did this by doing a discrete choice experiment. I will explain you what this is. By a discrete choice experiment, you give the responder, in this case parents, 2 options. In this case, 2 different devices, device A or device B. Each device has different features, and for each feature, you can put up a different level of this feature. The levels are randomly assigned, and every device has a different combination of different levels. Each time you have to choose either device A or device B. And this experiment is then repeated over time. And every time the parents has to choose either device A or device B. And at the end of the experiment, you can calculate which level of each feature is preferred over the other. And this is what we found. When we look at introduction to use, we gave the options directly. You buy it, take it out of the box, plug and play. That's simple. Second, after consulting a neurologist who can give you some advice. Or after a 2-week test period in a clinical setting, where you can try out the devices and get some feedback on its accuracy. Here, parents indicated that they strongly preferred recommendation by a neurologist, and they strongly did not prefer a clinical test period, something that we do a lot in the Netherlands. When we look at alarms, we gave the option to only get alarms for major seizures. And major seizures, I mean seizures that are potentially dangerous. Or give an alarm for every type of seizures, so the major ones and the minor ones. Or give an alarm for major seizures, but a small notification that doesn't really wake you up at night for the minor ones. And here parents indicated that they wanted to be alerted for both the major and minor seizures, which is also an important finding because most available STDs at the moment only alert for major seizures. When we look at personalization, we have the option fixed settings. Nothing can be changed. You can give personal feedback on which alarm is right or wrong, so the algorithm can adjust itself, or the device trains itself without any interference. And here parents indicated that they would like to have some option to personalize, but they would want to give the feedback themselves. So from the research that we did, we found that there is no main device that will fit all those different needs of parents. For some, the dream device will be a remote camera, while for others, it will be a smartwatch or some sort with all kinds of modalities in it. So my message for you today, if you want to have successful implementation of seizure detection devices, it's really important to have user-centered and tailored approaches. Also, to give the option to personalize, not only device settings, like what you want to be alerted for, but also personalize the algorithm. So it will fit better to specific people and specific types of epilepsy. And last, but definitely not least, be aware of different coping strategies and be aware of this protective behavior that parents have developed, because you can present them with a great device, but if they are not able to change this protective behavior and to open up for starting a new device, then it will never work. Thank you.